Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 1 of C++ for Beginners. In this series, I will take you from knowing nothing about C++ to having a pretty solid foundation in it. No background in programming is required, but obviously it would help. Maybe you're already a programmer and you're just looking to learn a new language, or maybe you've never programmed a day in your life. Either way, this series is for you. Now, first of all, what is C++? If you're watching this video, you probably have a general idea of what C++ is. It's been around since 1983. It's an object-oriented computer programming language developed by Mr. S, and it's been used by tons of big companies and smaller teams to create amazing software. Now, if you're already a programmer, you probably know the answer to this, but if you're relatively new, you might be thinking, okay, I know C++ is a computer programming language, but what is a computer programming language? Well, as sad as it is, computers don't understand English. If we wanted to make Photoshop, we can't just speak into our laptop microphone and voila, there it is. Believe it or not, computers only understand binary, aka machine code, which is a bunch of ones and zeros. Back in the day, all the programmers had to know binary, but as you can imagine, it's not very user-friendly, not very fun, and overall a big mess. So, a bunch of smart people decided to make an actual language with words, syntax, and rules to make the computer programming life easier. So, to answer the question, a computer programming language is a language designed specifically for communicating with a computer. Now, in order to actually write our C++ programs, we are going to need two things. The first thing we'll need is the IDE, also known as the Integrated Development Environment, and it is basically just a program used to write computer code. Now, if you're using Windows, you could use the default Notepad, but don't do that, it's a horrible idea. Use an IDE because IDEs are designed specifically for computer programming, and they provide a lot of helpful tools to make the development process faster and easier. Now, the second thing we'll need to write our programs is a compiler. And the compiler is basically software that turns your C++ code into machine code that the computer can actually understand. Now, back when I first started programming, I never really understood the compiler, and nobody really explained it to me, so I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the compiler. So, let's open up our imaginations for a second, and let's imagine that you are trying to tell me to do something. For instance, mow the lawn. You speak English. The problem is, I speak Elvish, and I can't understand a word you're saying. So, how do we fix this problem? Well, one solution would be we get a translator, and the translator will convert the English to Elvish and, kind of bridge the gap between you and me so I can understand what you're saying and I can go mow that front lawn. Now, this is similar to how the compiler works. On one side we have the programmer who speaks C++, and on the other side we have the computer which speaks binary, like I mentioned earlier, and the compiler is the translator in the middle that converts the C++ to the machine code binary, ones and zeros, etc. Now, in the next episode I'll actually show you how to download and install the IDE and Compiler and kind of just get the wheel rolling on developing C++ computer programs. So that about wraps up this video. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.